La Voix Humaine, otherwise known as The Human Voice, is an operatic piece by the French composer Francis Poulenc, who created this more than half a century ago. Now, this one-woman chamber opera about love and loss is about 40 minutes long and really puts a soprano's voice range and acting skills to the test.
Giving this classic production a fresh take, Singaporean Ivan Heng, cultural medallion winner, of course, and he's in charge of direction and set design. And we also have the pleasure of introducing Jennifer Lien, internationally acclaimed soprano. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, tell us why it was decided this particular production of the Human Voice. Was it your idea? Did it come from someone else?
Actually, Jennifer did this production together with a pianist called Jean Cocteau, one of Singapore's most renowned pianists, in a small concert for 70 people. And that was in 2016, I think.
Yes.
And quite soon after that, the SSO group took interest in the piece, and I was delighted to receive a phone call one morning to ask me if I would direct it. I'd seen Maggie Smith actually perform it here in Singapore in the 80s. I was very blown away by the piece, and I immediately said yes, because it's an opportunity to do something new. I'm always game for something new, and I'm a fan of Jennifer's.
Yeah, Jennifer, tell us, what did you do to prepare for this role? Because surely it's not easy.
It is a very, very difficult role to prepare because usually when you're learning a piece of Western music, there's a start, a middle, and an end, and you can sometimes quite instinctively know where the line is going. And with this piece, you just absolutely cannot do that. He has written it where the pianist's line has nothing to do with the vocal line. So I really ended up having to take over a month to pick it apart note by note and memorize it note by note, and then memorize how to come in, because a lot of it is just very conversational. And it's punctuated with some really, really beautiful lyrical melodic moments, but a lot of it is just this back and forth that was really hard to get.
Normally you have, well, for this particular play, there's a phone, there's a prop involved.
Yes.
But Ivan, you've decided to get rid of the prop. So over 40 minutes, all attention is going to be focused on Jennifer.
Yes, yes.
Why?
You know, it got in the way.
Not even a mobile phone, yeah?
Yeah, it's always this, right? And,
Yes.
and then I said, no, how are we going to play the Victoria Concert Hall, which is a 800 seat, concert hall, just like this? No, it was just to open it up. But also, I think that, when we started doing workshops in 2017, I had a complete set on stage with sofa and coffee table and, and as we got on, we started to really strip things bare. And so it's really an empty stage with the pianist, Shane, in the center. So the piano's in the center because when I was sketching the set, which I'm designing together with Brian Gotong Tan, I realized that Shane, or the piano, was not in the picture. And if it's a duet, and it's so closely, because it's a conversation, and we reimagine it as a conversation between this pianist and Jennifer and Elle. And so right now, her world revolves around this pianist. So it's kind of an imaginary world, and also I think it makes the audience imagine with us, and that's the best way to suck them in.
So Jennifer, you play the role of Elle, and you're trying to keep your lover on the non-existent phone on the eve of his marriage to someone else. How do you get through all these emotions in 40 minutes? Rage, jealousy, pleading, and it's just so dramatic.
I think the key is to, as I've been working with Ivan, it's to strip away the layers. And I think there's a corollary to real life too. I think when hardship happens, for example, in this case, rejection, we present a face to the world that is buried under a lot of layers. And I think what we've been doing is trying to strip away the layers to reveal some of the most undignified moments in a person's life in the aftermath of rejection. And it's, as Ivan said, an unvarnished look at these emotions that a person goes through. So initially, you know, as I'm approaching the piece, I think it's quite dated, you know, a modern day woman would just get over him, you know, but
Yeah, swipe left for the next guy, right?
Yes.
but really, who of us has not gone through rejection? And we pretty good at hiding some of the most desperate moments. And I think this opera really just shows you just a 45-minute glimpse of what's going on
It
behind
was
the
very
scenes.
deliberate as well. You wanted
Yeah.
it totally bare so that people would just focus entirely on what was going on stage, because it's not very long
No.
play, is it? It's just 40 minutes.
Short. It's raw, it's brutal, but I think it's a very universal human experience when you're on the end of the phone, you know, and just talking and just trying to. Breaking up is hard to do. Anyone who's been in love, and you know, nowadays people don't have the courage to just break up via SMS, right? WhatsApp.
That theme song now.
We're over. But you know, when you have to confront this, I mean, and even then he's a bit of a coward because he doesn't go to her house to tell her. He calls her, and but the amazing thing about it is because she's on the other side and he can't see her, she can pretend that she's okay. She can pretend that she's not tried to commit suicide. She can pretend that she is absolutely fine and has accepted it. But you know, the truth of it is very, very. I think it's very human,
Very raw.
very raw.
You know, Ivan, you're no stranger to one solo acts, right? You've helmed Emily of Emerald Hill several times
Yes.
now. Do you think your lead role in that one-person production kind of your experience there lends itself to how you direct Jennifer in this play? Or is it completely different? Different story altogether?
It's I think very, well, I tend to play strong women.
Yeah.
As a man, or women who are surviving in a man's world. It's always a political act. It's a kind of something which is quite feminist, because you know I have to. I say to men, you know, imagine what it feels like for a woman. And Jennifer's a very fine actor. She's fearless. She just jumps off the cliff with all this emotion, this amazing voice. So I think our days are actually filled with music and drama, and I don't think we could ask for anything more.
Look, I'm not really very familiar with this entire play, but is there a lot of singing, a lot of soprano? Is this sung all the way through?
Yeah, so, you know, it's one of the biggest things I've ever had to do, because normally in opera, you've got a big cast of characters, and maybe your singing time is 30 minutes, you know, or less, because lots of other people are doing things. This is just
2 hours.
non-stop from the beginning to the end, and you're just constantly on. So you really have to follow the flow of what happens from beginning to end.
That must be so tough, because you're also running through this whole gamut of emotions.
But do you guys still think opera is relevant today? Is there enough interest? I mean, this play or production was written more than 50 years ago.
Yeah, well,
How do you excite the generation today?
it is about this music which is emotional, which is uplifting, which is disturbing and challenging, and music crosses all kinds of boundaries, you know, culture, age, you know, and I think that the theme itself is very, very, very relevant, very human.
Still very current.
But I think opera is seen as kind of fuddy-duddy or stuffy or...
But I guess when it comes to rejection and the loss of love, those themes...
Heartbreak.
Yeah, you can't run away from that, whatever age you're in.
And I think what we're trying to do here with this production is to just really make it connect. So if you have not been to an opera, this is a wonderful taster because it's just 40 minutes long.
Okay.
And it's exciting.
Very nice. Can't wait to see it.
Oh,
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for coming
Pleasure.
in
Thanks
today.
for coming
Yvonne
in.
and Lance, thank you.
We've
Pleasure,
been
sir.
speaking to Ivan Heng and Jennifer Lien. You can catch La Voix Humaine on the 12th and 13th of May. Ticketing details are on your screen right now.
She says it so well.